Okay, now for our very last one. This one's going to have some very interesting things happening in it also. Now notice that as we get started, we're starting off with our squared, but this z term needs to come over because it has to be in the proper order before we begin. So let's do that first. We'll have 2z squared minus 2z plus 7 equals 0. So not only did I move that over, but I put it in the correct order also. Okay, now as we're doing this, here we have our A, we need to list that out, and our B, and also our C. So the number in front of the squared term is 2. The number in front of the regular term is -2, and then our constant is a 7. So now we know our A, our B, and our C, and we can start working this out. Now I think that in the last video I just said x equals, and we really didn't have an x. In this case we have a z. And, the variable doesn't matter. It really just says, this unknown variable is. So I should make that the proper notation though. I'll admit to that. Here we have z equals, the formula is the opposite of b. So the opposite of a -2 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 7, all over 2 times a, which is 2. And then we start simplifying. So z, or a variable in this case, equals the opposite of -2 would be a +2 plus or minus the square root of -2 squared would be a 4, and then minus 4 times 2 would be 8, times 7 would be 56, so that's minus 56, all over 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so let's keep cleaning up. So we have 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 56 would be a -52 all over 4. Now 52 we did in the previous video, so we actually already know that that is 4 times 13. But because of this this negative here underneath the radical, we're going to correct that with an I. So let's rewrite this as 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 would be 2. We have to leave the 13 underneath the radical, and then we take care of the negative underneath the radical as an I, all over 4. Now let's separate these out so that we can simplify a bit. So z will equal 2 over 4 plus or minus 2 square roots of 13 over 4 I. And now we can simplify because 2 goes into 4 2 times. That means that z will equal 1/2 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 2 I. And this is a compact way of writing two separate problems. So our solution set will look like 1/2 plus the square root of 13 over 2i and 1/2 minus the square root of 13 over 2i. So there are our two answers to that quadratic problem.